My name is James Chambers, and I'm from Miracle Home Care. We are a home health provider here in Wichita, Kansas, and we've been in business about 10 years now. We've been doing a lot of great work in the city, and today I just want to hopefully uncover some value today for you with the benefits of home care versus the alternatives. And also, since this is an ad, and I'm paying for you to be here, I'm paying for you to see this, I want to have a real conversation. If you decide to listen, we're going to have a real conversation and talk about things that no one is really talking about. I feel like I've been in many of nursing homes, and I've been in many of homes, and I've seen situations developed over time, and I don't want those situations to be you. I want to have a real conversation about the dark side of getting home care late or not having home care at all. And I just want to let you know, like, this is a real conversation. I'm not going to be speaking out of a brochure. All right. Again, my name is James, and let's get into it. The first thing I think the myth is a myth that home care is expensive. And I always say, compared to what? Because home care is expensive only if you've been getting no care. Now, if you check the prices on the average nursing home here in Wichita, I think the prices start right at $7,500 to $9,000 per month. And that is the average here across the city for all the facilities. So when you think a person that was getting an average of 40 hours a week and home care, that bill would run under $4,000 here at Miracle Home Care. So it's one of the things where Miracle has a very wide range of services. So we give you options. We have, I know our cheapest service is $150, and that's for a day rate. We provide that service. So say if you were taking care of your mother or father or somebody physically disabled, you could go and see those football games or go to that wedding if you gave us enough time. And we want to make sure that you're still reaching and getting to those things, those moments. You're not missing those moments in your life if you're the family caregiver. So Miracle has a wide range of options to provide home care to you to make sure that your life is still moving forward and you're not missing out on those moments. So home care is very affordable because home care provides options. The other option does not provide options. Either you're in or you're out. So that's definitely a benefit for home care. Having someone in the home to provide home care prevents unnecessary hospital visits. I don't know, have you heard a little bit about inflation? But everything is inflated nowadays. Gas, food, clothing, and hospital stays. Hospital stays are getting outrageous. The average hospital stay right now, large medical facilities run around $30,000 a day. I mean, just some numbers out there. The average COVID stay in 2021 was 4 days, and that ranged around $150,000. The number one thing that people are afraid of when they retire is money running out. And the reason money runs out is because of medical expenses. It's going to be your largest expense is medical expenses when you get older. Those are what people worry about the most. This is why medical insurance is the highest as it is right now. But with home care, you're able to prevent or take preventative measures to close down those unnecessary hospital visits, or at least minimize them as much as possible, because the least number you have, the better off you're gonna be. The next benefit of having home care is it provides family relief. And family relief, I can really go into this because people don't talk about this enough. And this is extremely, extremely important, especially if you're a son or a daughter taking care of a parent. Family relief or home care services can help you manage your relationships in life, because I've seen many relationships deteriorate because the caregiver was taking care of a parent or a sister, and usually that caregiver is going through a lot of stress. A lot of things happen when you're a family caregiver. This situation happens a lot more than you think, but it's usually one sibling that's took on the full responsibility of taking care of the parent or parents, and they build this kind of resentment at the back of their mind for the other siblings because they're still living their lives. And when you're a family caregiver, you have to give up a lot. You have to give up a lot. Like a lot of your mental space, your physical space is given to that person to take care of them. And a lot of times doing the right thing can feel extremely bad. That's the only way I can say it. Doing the right thing can feel extremely bad. I've seen tens of I ain't gonna say 50, but less than that, I've seen people where when the parent passed away, a sense of relief felt over that person. Sad to say, like they felt relief when their person that they were taking care of was passed away. And nobody ever talks about that. They just kind of brush it on the rug. But a lot more happens when that happens, because usually that person's dedicated a large part of their life to that person that they were caring for. And by doing that, you give up so much of your own personal life. I've seen husbands, kids neglected because the mother is taking care of the mom and dad. The mom and dad pass away and she wants to go back, but those relationships are not the same as they once was. Time waits for no one. And 2 or 3 years removed, things change. And it just goes into this more depressive state. I'm not a counselor, but this is just what I've noticed over the years, just in real life situations where the family caregiver went through so much to try to keep the mom and dad afloat. She basically lost everything on the back end. She came back to nothing because she dedicated. But everyone told her she was doing the right thing. And it is the right thing. But sometimes it can be very, very hard. That's why I always push home care, because you want to keep your family's wishes. You want to keep the wishes, but also you have a duty to yourself and your family if you are the caregiver of those people. So home care, I think, is the best option to make both sides come to some agreement. Another benefit of home care, I feel, is it gives you a greater sense of independence for the person that's receiving the care and the person that's giving the care. But the person receiving the care, they get a greater sense of independence because they're in their own home. They have control over the things that they're doing on a day-to-day basis. That's extremely important. I feel like people don't say this enough, but the less you have control over your life, the less you want to live. We wake up because we have full control over the things that we do, and those are the things that we enjoy. If you knew you were going to wake up the next day and you knew you had no control over what you did all day, that would be a very dismal picture. And that is what, sadly, I don't care what the brochure says, a lot of people face in nursing homes when they go to these facilities, because those people have a set schedule. And a set meal. My grandmother loves bacon. She eats bacon every day. If you took her bacon away, I don't know what would happen, because I would never do it. But that is something that she loves. And I couldn't imagine taking that away from her. She doesn't care what happens to her arteries. Just being honest. She doesn't care. She loves her bacon. So it's one of the things where I feel like that part of her is her keeping to herself. Like she's keeping that sense of that's her identity and she must do that. So I wouldn't even dare to try to take that away from my grandmother. I don't know why I said that, but that's how I felt when I was talking about independence and keeping control of your life. Engagement in life is what keeps us alive. That's what I personally believe. And the less engagement you have, the less you want to stay alive. Another great benefit of home care is the safety and convenience that we provide. Miracle does extensive checks on all our caregivers, about 7, and we also give you an extensive list, the customer, of what you need in the home, so we can make sure that our aide is properly trained. We find an aide that is properly trained to provide all your needs. That's why we work very, very hard to be prepared to provide the care, because we want to build safety and reliability. And we build safety and reliability by making a good match, by knowing the aide, knowing the client. And if they can come together, that breeds the safety, because you won't have a lot of turnover and you'll have reliability because the aide likes the job. The client likes the aide. And that's how you get to that great point where like great quality care happens. And that's why we've learned to prepare, do a lot of preparation to provide that care, because it makes for longer lasting relationships during the care. Another great benefit of home care is the personalization of care. I think it's unmatched in home care. Nobody can provide a better personalized service than home care and a higher quality. I know people talk bad about home care being it because it's the low end of care, but at the same time, I think it provides the best quality of life, and you can get the highest quality of care because you're not on an assembly line. You're not a part of a line of people getting pills. This person that you know that's in your home, you know them personally. And you can do the things that you want to do. You can do more of these things, less of these things. And you can customize and you can provide yourself with the best quality care, or your loved one with the best quality care, because you know what they want. And the person there is there to give you care. So you can work on it together and on a day-to-day basis. It's not like you come in a month later and be like, hey, has this been happening? No. With home care, it's a day-to-day iteration of getting to better care. So you get to better care faster with home care than in any other of our competitors or nursing homes, assisted living, things of that nature, because it's a day-to-day getting better process. So that's just a great benefit of home care that I think they never really talk about when they're explaining home care to people. Another great benefit of home care that I think no one is talking about. I've never heard anybody talk about this to this depth and the importance it is to life and just in general. And that's companionship. Companionship is extremely important to humans. And we lose that a lot in our older years because usually our kids are living their lives and everybody just kind of forgets about the elderly people. But they need companionship in the worst way. I feel like that companionship is what keeps them anchored and engaged in life. And a good example of that energy transfer is children. Children, when they get around other children, they just run. It's because that energy is transferring back and forth. And it's another reason why children or elderly people love to watch children, because that energy is transferring. I feel like it's waking up their soul to watch those young souls just run around and do all the wild things. And they just love it. They love it. And they just love to just sit and watch. I got a great story about this. So I have a lady about 3 years ago. No, longer than that, about 7 years ago. She is the person, when I didn't understand energy and how it was transferred, she was a client, and a lot of aides were going to her home and they would talk to her. And I found out that she had a lot of friends. So even when aides were off work, they were at bingo with this lady and they were at the casino with this lady and they eating dinner. And I was just like, why are you here? You cannot do these things. Like you cannot do these things. Like this is, you're going too far, right? And then I finally talked to the lady myself. Her spirit is one of the best spirits I ever encountered in my whole life. Like she's that lady. Her energy is so great that, I mean, I wanted to go to dinner with her after the meeting. She's one of those people that would, any aide that came to her house, she was so into the companionship. She didn't need a lot of care per se. She was so into companionship. She would almost basically make the aide dump out their purse. And she wanted to see every picture of every family member that you had. She wanted to see him. She wanted to ask you about him. She wanted to ask you if y'all were close. Why weren't you close? She asked me about my family, my mom. My mom used to work here. Just complete honesty. My mom used to work here, and she was called office. And she figured out that was my mom because she talking to the lady over the phone. And then she called my mom, and my mom is friends with her right now. She goes and sees her all the time. Like they knit together. And this lady's soul was so beautiful because she really focused on companionship and everybody loves her. Yeah. And she's one of the people where at first it was one of the things where I didn't like it because I thought that she was overstepping boundaries, but she receives the best care because she's open to that companionship and she pushes it more than I've ever seen anybody push it. She's a truly a unique individual, but I use that example as to enlighten you on the importance of companionship, and having friends and having people to talk to, seeing somebody else's life in any situation. Companionship is extremely important in the older years because a lot of elderly people don't get it. They get, in the other alternatives, they get high and by. But in home care, that is a part of it, as being a companion and being a confidant for a person in need. Home care gets you the opportunity to be in control of your life and also control your peer groups. Peer groups are extremely important because I feel like for the alternatives to home care and nursing homes and assisted livings, I've been to many of them in the city. And I can tell you firsthand, these are not daycares. I don't care what the brochure looks like. These places are quiet. These places are not full of life. I've been to a nursing home where I wasn't a ray of sunshine to anybody. I'm not like going to see anybody per se. I'm going there as a service provider, and these places are silent. There are lots of TVs in there, and those TVs are watching people. That's basically what it is. Like, it is not a whole bunch of engagement in there in life. And I hope this example is not too hard for you to understand. I mean, I know it's going to understand, but I hope it's not too harsh. But it needs to be said. During the pandemic, I was watching a lot of the people, pass away from COVID in nursing homes. And I thought about it. The nursing homes were closed because we couldn't go to nursing homes. And just think, for example, you're in room 8. You can't get people around to see you. They might call, but you're getting your food on a little plastic tray. You're stuck in your room, and you hear the person in number 1 dies. Then number 2 dies. Then number 3 dies. 4, 5, 6, 7. At that point, you're in room 8. How do you think that person feels? They're not a ray of sunshine at this point, and their engagement in life is very, very low. And that just adds to the outcomes. Because that person is probably already leaning towards that outcome because that's their peer group at this time. When you walk around nurse homes, I've seen a lot of people, and they never gave me that feeling of high energy. No energy is what you get when you get to nursing homes. A lot of assisted livings are the same exact way. They're the same exact way. I've been to bingo nights, and I've been to singing nights, and a lot of people would just push up to the table, and they were just looking forward. They were not talking to each other, or they dabbed. Most of them didn't dab because they just was just sitting there. So just outside their room. So it's one of the things where I know people say that they're going to have all these things on the brochure and it's going to be such an engaging thing. But as a person that's been there multiple times, I'm going to tell you, it's not like that. It is absolute truth. It is not like that. Those places are very, very low energy. And it really, again, I'm spilling over into the engagement of life. That's my next thing is longevity of life. They don't talk about the longevity of life in nursing homes. The numbers are very obscure. They don't keep track, but a lot of people pass away because everybody's passing away. Have you ever came in contact with this or heard of this happening to other people? You see somebody's been married for 50 years, 70 years, married 7 years. The wife is good. The dad is good. And then all of a sudden the wife passes away. Less than 3 months later, the dad passes away. Why do you think that happens? Peer groups and the loss of engagement of life, because they feel no more reason to go on because their happiness was took away. This is the last one that I'm going to do this video because this video is getting kind of long, but I got a few more. But this is extremely important also. Another thing that nobody ever says in their brochures when they're talking about home care is the peace of mind that you get when just having home care. For the caregiver, they get the peace of mind of doing the right thing, also getting a chance to live their life at the same time, getting the care for the parent or you're the parent, getting the care that you need. I've also had on the other side where the parent noticed that their care was taking over the child's life, and they admitted themselves to nurse home. I've had people try to get out of a nurse home that admitted themselves in there because they knew that they were consuming their child's life or their family member's life, and they just wanted to kind of break away because that person that was taking care of them didn't have the strength to do it, and they saw their ruin coming. So it gives both sides a peace of mind knowing that you as the caregiver, you're doing the right thing for the person that you're taking care of. And if you're the client, you're doing the right thing for the person that's taking care of you, giving them some respite or some free time to live their own lives while you can take advantage of and take control of your own life and live on your own terms. Home care and can help you live more on your own terms. So, and keep you in your home where you feel safe and secure. Again, this is James Chambers from Miracle Home Care. I hope this wasn't too bad, but I feel like these lights need to be turned on. These things really, really happen. And I never hear people talking about it. And from my side, I see it a lot. And since I'm paying for ads, I'm going to give it to you. And I hope I uncover some value for you for home care. If you like the video, please share it. Give us a call. We definitely would love to come in there and give an assessment. And the prices are still the same. $150 is our lowest price. $22,000 is our highest price. We do day rates, and we do vacations and weddings and things of that nature. So give Miracle Home Care a call. I thank you for watching this video if you got this far, and see you soon. Engage life.